Greetings, everyone. This is Lorenzo, your host, your friend, your coach of the Lead Without podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, my good friend Rebecca from the UK. We're connected through a common friend of ours, Jay. I had Jay on my podcast about a year ago. Phenomenal story. We had a chat about 2, 3 weeks ago. Really interesting chat. Very lots in common. She's like me, just a globetrotter, and we talked a lot about travel and all that and business, and we had a few chats since then. And I said, listen, you know what? Just shut up. I need to bring you on my podcast. Even this morning earlier before we were talking, just jazzing about things. Listen, please keep that for the podcast because that's so beautiful. So yeah, Rebecca does a lot of things. I said she's been traveling a lot. She's been living around the world, but right now she's really doing something that is actually meaningful and helpful, especially for businesses. She's helping busy entrepreneurs grow their Instagram and then use that Instagram to book 20 calls per month without lifting a finger. That's my favorite type of thing. And that she does a lot of other things. So we have a lot to talk about. So it's going to be a fun one. Plus, she's very, very, very heart centered, as you can see. And that's probably the reason why we connected so well, because for me, it's all about being heart centered and doing good. So, anyways, without any further ado, Rebecca, welcome to the show, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, Lorenzo. That was such a good introduction.
Thank you. Pleasure's on mine. So, as I told you the first time we talked, I don't know if you remember it. The kind of conversation I like to have on my podcast is I like to have a look, so to speak, under the hood to see what's in your heart and have a heart-to-heart conversation. Hence the name Leaders with a Heart. Because sure, we're going to talk about your business and all that in a moment, but what I want to get to know, and my audience wants to know, is who is the person, first of all, who is Rebecca as a person, as a human being, first and foremost, because as we just were talking earlier, we do business with people we can connect and relate. And if you can connect with a person as at a personal level, you don't care if they have 55,000 PhDs, or in your case, if they have even 50 million followers on Instagram, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, I thought that was the question.
No, no,
Sorry.
no. All right, no, no. We haven't even started yet, okay? So for people who don't know you as a person, as a human being, who's Rebecca?
Who is Rebecca? That's a great question. I love that. I think ever since I was younger, Rebecca, like me, little me, I really loved to travel, and I saw that I wanted to help people as well. So I had two kind of things when I was younger. I really, really wanted to help people. I knew I wanted a job doing that, and I really wanted to travel. And so that led me to, when I'm older, I became a teacher. Because I was like helping little children, educating them, and I found like education so valuable and important, and I really wanted to help other children learn. And then also after my first job in teaching in England, I really wanted to travel, but I didn't really have much money because teachers in England don't get that much. So I moved to China. I found a job online, and I thought, wow, this is my dream come true. I can teach and travel at the same time, like two of my biggest passions, or that have been all my life, I actually finally get to do. So yeah, I moved to China, and that's where we connected as well. I think we bonded over China and our experiences there.
We're in the same city, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Hangzhou. We
so
just
fun.
missed each other by a few months.
Yeah, and I feel like anyone that you meet that has lived in China before has this connection, or even been for some
We're in
time.
the same city.
Yeah, exactly. And like you just have
What are
this
the odds?
understanding, yeah, of just the way life is, the difficulties, the things that you miss about China. And yeah, it was just amazing. So that's how we really connected, I think.
Absolutely. We'll talk. We can do an entire episode just on China and sharing juicy stories. I'm sure you have plenty, and I have plenty as well. So we're gonna get into that in a moment. But now, I'd like to ask you a series of rapid fire questions to further get to know you. Ready?
Wow. Okay. I wasn't ready for this, but okay.
You were not ready. Wow, that was beautiful. So imagine what it can be when you're ready. Okay. All right. So, what makes you happy as a person?
Oh, it's frozen.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Okay, you're back. Sorry, it froze.
No worries. What makes you happy as a person?
Chocolate, sunshine, travel, seeing new people, new cultures, seeing a new country, yoga, meditation, so many things.
Beautiful. Now, what makes you smile?
When I see someone else smile.
Oh yeah, love that. Now, let's take now the happiness factor a couple of notches higher. What makes your heart come alive? What makes your soul set on fire in a good way?
When I help people in ways that they didn't expect.
All right. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what makes you sad and angry?
Ooh, when people are not honest,
Mm,
um, when other people are sad and angry, I feel their emotions and I will become sad with them.
mhm.
Um, mm, I think that's it for now.
Okay. What scares you other than spiders?
Oh, I have a few random fears. I'm really scared of the pitch black dark. I'm
All
slowly
right.
getting over it. Yeah, subconsciously. Like
Okay.
I don't know what that fear is about. And then fear of elevators. I make myself get in them, but oh, I'm so
Holding the
scared.
rails?
Oh no, like in China when I was living there, I had to get in the elevator to work and then in the elevator in my house as well to get to my home. So I had to get used to it. But before that, wow, I just used to hate them. I'd always take the stairs. And like in England, we don't really have many unless you go to like skyrise buildings. You don't really need to, but in China, you have to get anywhere.
Are you afraid of that the elevator might fall, or are you just?
No, that you get stuck in that small box. And
Oh,
there's a few stories that I've been told, like an old lady died in one in China and things like this. And I think I've just like memorized it and like, oh
I used
no.
to have that fear as well for a while because I was afraid not to get stuck, but
Yeah.
elevators would just fall.
Oh wow. No, it's not really falling. Wow. Maybe that's added to my fear now. No, it's just I still make myself get in there because it comes to a point where you can't really be controlled by the fear. If the fear
Exactly.
controls you, then you are not strong in your mind and you need to
Grab it
really,
by the horns,
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, tell us, what is your number one personal superpower?
Oh, I think my personal superpower is that I can get along with anybody. So like a
Mhm.
stranger along the street and I could just have a conversation and really, I wouldn't say, I don't know if the charm is a bit in my ego saying I'm charming, but I definitely can turn a conversation into a real genuine, authentic, like maybe a
Yeah.
friendship in the end. Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, indeed. Now, let's talk about something that we both like a little bit. That is traveling.
Yes. My favorite topic.
Yeah. What was your very first trip?
Oh, my first trip alone was to Kenya. Uh,
Oh,
it
wow.
was very scary getting on that plane and not knowing where I was going to end up. I was working with an organization like teaching though, so I knew someone was going to meet me at the other end. But that
Okay.
was a very scary solo first trip. Yeah.
Kenya. I'm
And I
actually
was
thinking of going to Kenya next.
really, oh, you have to. So 1 month there, spending them with the Maasai tribe. You learn all
Wow.
about how they live in the mud huts. Um, and I lived with the local family. Like I kept changing for different families because it was around summertime, so schools were closing. So I stayed with a host family in the first week with the Japanese guy. And I remember walking, it's called in Kajiado. And I remember walking along the street with this Japanese friend that I'd made. And we got so many stares because we were the only foreigners in the village. I
Okay.
mean, everyone was like, hi, so friendly, like Jambo. And on our first day, we learned the song Jambo Buana. I still remember it today, but I won't sing
Sing it.
it.
Can you
Yeah, I
sing it?
can, but I'm never good at singing. But it's like Jambo, Jambo Buana, Habari Gadi, Missouri Sana, and Wagani, can you get to something Missouri? Oh, I forgot the last part, but it was
That's
really cool.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Wow. Cool. Awesome. Now, let's talk about a different type of traveling. I'd like to take you down a
Okay.
memory line. Go back to when you were a young girl. When we were kids growing up, people around us, friends, family, teachers, relatives ask us, "So Rebecca, what do you want to become when you grow up?" What was your answer as a young girl?
Can you repeat the question? It froze. I'm so sorry.
Uh, so as I said, now I'd like to take you down a different type of traveling down memory line. Go
Yeah.
back to when we were a young girl. You know, when we we're kids,
Mhm.
people around us, friends, family, teachers, relatives always ask us, Rebecca, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer back then as a young girl?
So I think I'm a little bit abnormal with this question because I wanted to be so many different things as a child.
Princess, queen, singer.
I was like, really want to be a paramedic. And then I was like, oh no, I don't like the sight of blood. So I'm like, no, I don't want to be that. And then I was like, I used to like watching crime shows. I was like, oh, I want to be a forensic scientist like those on CSI. And then I was like, actually, no, I don't want to see dead people. And then I really wanted to be a teacher. And I always wanted to be a teacher because I would boss my brother around and I loved helping people through that process of like telling them what they needed to do and where they needed to go and how they could get there.
Mm,
And I really like I enjoyed teaching my brother a few things. He's like 3 years younger than me.
okay.
And yeah, I think that was the biggest thing that I can remember as a child. Like I liked to be the teacher in all like the little games that you play as kids. Like there's a mum, a dad, a baby, and I was like, I'm the teacher. So the biggest thing was the teacher that stuck out to me. But yeah, I can't say there was one thing because there's absolutely loads.
Nice, nice, nice. That was awesome. Now, growing up, what was your relationship with school? Did you love school or did you hate school?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. When I was younger, so I went to two different schools. We moved house when I was 13. So before 13, I loved it, got on with everybody. The teachers were amazing. We read Harry Potter in our school, which
Yeah.
was when it first came out, which is amazing. I remember being in year 5 having that, and I had the best teachers, really really good. And my second school, when I moved up north, I did enjoy it, but because the culture is quite different from south to north in England,
Uh-huh.
and anyone British will tell you that. So I did have a bit of trouble transitioning into like, oh, she's from the south.
Also,
And
tell us more about the differences between the North and the South people.
oh no, I'll get into trouble probably.
That's
Um,
okay. Travel is
the
fun.
well, I'll try to be diplomatic. The accent's very different. I think the humor is different, definitely. And people up north are a lot more open.
Oh,
People in the
really?
south tend to be a lot more reserved. Yeah. I would say those three things are the biggest difference. And that accent alone is enough as children to kind of set you aside from someone else. And then also the fashion. I mean, it was fashionable to wear clunky shoes in the South. And then I moved north and they were wearing ballet style shoes. They were like, look at those space boots. Did you come for the moon? And I was like, no. So I was quiet socially in the school up north, but that really enabled me to just sit and get my head down and work. And I really enjoyed studying and learning in school. And I had some great teachers as well.
Beautiful. Awesome. What was your favorite subject in school?
English, definitely English. I love writing stories and creating characters and things like that. Yeah, fictional story writing was my favorite thing to
Mhm.
do.
Wow. And was there any subject you could not stand at all?
Yes, I think physics for me. I think partly the teacher and the group that I had, but physics was really hard for me to understand. And I didn't really understand a lot of the concepts with it, or and it wasn't really made fun. Like I think back now, like physics can be made a lot more fun with doing experiments and things like that. But yeah, the teacher we had, I think he had some illnesses and he wasn't really very good at managing the class. So it was not very enjoyable.
Wow, that's interesting. That's amazing. Now, tell us, moving forward, what was your very first job?
um, and when I was 15, I worked as a waitress in a Brewers Fair restaurant. Yeah, so that was my first job. Definitely taught me about how to work with the public,
Mhm.
the complaints that you get from food, and the way people can treat you both in the kitchen and then as well as like the customers. So yeah, that was an eye-opening experience.
Mhm. And then moving forward from the moment you left school to now, how would you describe your path? Would you say your path was pretty much straightforward, smooth sailing? Once you get into one lane, it was you set for life, or was it more like turns and twists, like a roller coaster?
Definitely turns and twists. Yeah. I didn't prepare for that question, but oh my goodness, yes. When I was 18, I was graduating from university, and then I didn't apply for jobs soon enough. So I did two jobs at the same time, supply teaching and working
Wow.
in a pub. So I was waking up at 6 a.m., going to teaching in all day, getting back, going to the pub in the evening. So working so I got back about 4 and then go to the pub at 6 and work till 12. So
Whoa. You might as well
yeah,
just sleep at the pub. You know what I mean?
working two jobs because I knew I had to get the supply teaching job done because that would give me experience for the job for next year. So
Mhm.
I worked very, very hard. And then when I got my job, not 18, at 21 after graduating uni. And then after a year, I got a job in England, which I absolutely loved. I loved being a primary school teacher and it was amazing. But I really felt like I needed to travel and I really wanted to just explore the world. And so, yeah, that's how I got the job in China. But yeah, ups and downs, really. Like I got a job in China and then I changed after the first year. And I wanted to change and I just wanted 2 weeks off my first contract to go to the next job, but the lady wouldn't let me, and she said, no, I'll send you back home, I'll cancel all your visa unless you do these 2 weeks. So I had to do again all day teaching and then comes the evening to teach in that job for 2 weeks, which is insane. It was really, really
Wow.
different.
So let's go back a little bit. What made you choose China?
I had been to Thailand. Oh, actually, when you say first trip, I'd done a backpacking trip with my friend when I was 21.
Okay.
So we went backpacking for 1 month in Thailand. And I was like, wow, Asia's amazing. I love this place. People are so friendly. Some people speak English. So when I chose China, I saw like jobs in South Korea, China, Japan. And I chose China because I thought, oh, it's close to Thailand. People are going to be able to speak English. I can get to travel all of the world, all of Asia and everything. And then actually, no, like I landed
Mhm.
my first day in China and I have to tell you, it was scary. So I landed in the airport, got picked up, everything fine. And then the first week I went out with my work colleagues.
Wait. Did you fly direct to Hangzhou or to Shanghai and then make a switch from Shanghai to Hangzhou?
To Shanghai and then I changed to Hangzhou and got
Ah,
up there. So that was all fine.
me
No,
too. Yeah.
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 Then the first week, I find myself in a bar where with some work colleagues, and everyone disappears one by one. And it's only about 5 of them, and we're about 50 minutes from where I'm living. And I'm like, okay, so everybody's gone. I'm in the bar at 2 a.m. on my own, and I go to the street and I'm trying to get a taxi, and oh my goodness, I could not get a taxi. It was before the taxi apps. I tried to flag down taxis, nobody would stop for me, to the point where I stood in front of one. I said, no, stop, this is like the 5th or 6th taxi. And I said, take me here. And I didn't speak any Mandarin at that time, he didn't
Sure.
speak any English, and he was like, fine, just get in. I just got in the taxi, and he couldn't read, he didn't know where we were going, so we had to stop at a McDonald's, get Wi-Fi, call my friend, say, tell me how to say turn left, turn right, go straight, and tell me the name of my building. And that's how I got home. And
Whoa.
without that, oh my gosh, from then on I said I have to learn Mandarin because I'm not going to survive if I don't.
Wow. So let's back up a little bit. When you decided to go to China, how did your family and friends react? Do you think you had gone crazy and lost your marbles? Or say, okay, go, the world is yours.
Well, I think because at that time I was so dependent. I was living at
Mhm.
home after university because I couldn't afford to live out.
Mhm.
And I just thought, I think people just didn't really take it seriously. They're like, oh, she's going to be back in a few months. No worries. After 2 or 3 months, she's going to be home for Christmas. This was around, I think I went in September. And
Yes.
like, she's going to leave. She's going to come back in December, no worries. And like they were saying bye to me and everyone was quite upset, but they thought that I would just be back and I wouldn't be able to survive there. And then I got a really good opportunity around April time, for a new job the following year. So but around that time, around November, December time, like I'd met my long-term ex-boyfriend there. So we like were living together pretty soon after that. And I got a better job. And yeah, I was just staying out there for years. And I just
Wow.
think people didn't really realize that I would actually make it, number one, survive, and then also stay out there for as long as I did.
How long did you stay there in China?
I moved there in 2013. I left in 2016 just for 1 year, and then I moved back in 2017 until January 2020.
Holy
So
smoke. And all this time you were in the same city or the various cities?
Hangzhou at first for 2.5 years or around 3 years, and then Shanghai after that. When I
Oh,
was
so you're in Shanghai the whole time. Okay. Wow. We can do an entire episode just on China because there's so
I
much to talk
know,
about.
I love it.
Yeah. What were your very first impression upon landing in China? Were they completely, is it what you were expecting? It completely blew your mind away.
It was exciting, but in a way that you have never seen before. It was almost like, I don't want to describe this as bad, but it was almost like you're being put on Mars because the culture is that different. It's like, wow, okay, this is how people live here. This is the new lifestyle. In terms of the food was so different and so different from the Chinese food that you get back in
Oh,
England.
yes. I completely different. Yes, yes, yes.
Totally different. You had to learn to use chopsticks because there were no forks in where I was living. So you had to learn chopsticks, or if you didn't, you wouldn't be able to eat. Sometimes there were spoons in some restaurants, depending where you would go, but you had to like use them for noodles and things. People's way of life. I saw some really heartbreaking things where, like a locksmith, I remember had to get a key cut, and this locksmith had a very tiny store, and it was almost like a storage unit, but it was actually their home. And he was there cutting the keys, and I saw a bunk bed, and the bunk bed was where his two little children were living and his
Oh,
wife.
no.
And
Yeah.
that was their livelihood. And I just thought, wow, I have been so sheltered and isolated
Oh,
in
yes.
my life. I've never seen anything like that. Like I'd been to Kenya a month before this, and I'd saw like poverty then, but I had never seen anything like that before. Like they lived in this little, it looked like a cupboard.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I really couldn't believe that. So that was really eye-opening. People were very friendly, but then also not so friendly. I remember my cousins coming around April time, so about 9 months after I was there, and they couldn't get by. They were trying to get a taxi to their hotel, and 5 taxi drivers said, no, 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 no. Like, and to the point where they got into one taxi, and this guy, the taxi driver, was just shouting at my cousin, get out, blah, 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 I don't know where you're going, blah, blah, blah. And they can be
Wow.
quite rude, but I don't know. And now whether that was just a complete misunderstanding, where how could the taxi driver go if he didn't know where he was going, and getting frustrated like that. And then my cousins were also really frustrated because they wanted to get to their hotel. So it can be like quite challenging at
Oh,
times, because if
yes.
you don't speak Mandarin, you're not really going to survive there. Some of the
Yes.
mannerisms I couldn't get used to,
Oh,
in
yes.
terms of like older men spitting on the street. Like I've
Oh,
never
don't
seen
get
that
me started.
before going to China.
You know, I've experienced
What
this
else?
the first time that I went, I had heard about the spitting, but I swear to you, the first night or the first week, just
Yeah.
in a small little restaurant and where I was close where I was living, just on my own thought, just enjoying my food. And there's a table right, and the guy next to me, you know, the Chinese spit, they don't just, they do it with all the sound effect. You can hear it from 10 kilometers away. Like, what was that? I thought it was a bullet.
Oh,
So it
I
was,
have
and he
stories.
just spat right on the floor of the restaurant next to me. I said, "What the hell is that?" I looked at him. The guy was completely in his own well, just enjoying his food completely. Said, "Wow."
I have a story about the spitting as well. So we were on our little minibus. We had a minibus taking us from our little town to the school, which is about 40 minutes away. And on this bus, there was a bus driver, and he did what you said. He like they go to get
Sound
all the
effect. Yeah.
yeah, and then they spit out the window. So this driver spat out the window, but my friend was sitting directly behind him, and the window was open. So it spat and it came back in and it landed on his cheek.
Oh no.
And it was absolutely vile. And I saw it and he was like, and he didn't know what to do. He didn't say anything because he didn't want to insult the driver, or it's just a good situation. But oh my goodness, that was really
bless him, because I would have not been able to control myself, you know.
Oh, that the other thing that I found very strange, but I guess this depends on people, but the burping in public, I don't know, in Western countries, like especially like America, sorry, the USA, Canada, England, like the UK, we don't really do that. We try to hide if we do that, and they're very open with that. Like,
and they accentuate and emphasize the sound effect. That they really want you to know that they're going to do it, you know.
Yes, and then also like loud eating in the dinner table. But it's meant to be the cultural difference there is like, oh, if you are loudly eating and burping after your meal, it's kind of showing the sign to the boss of the restaurant, oh, it's really good food, thank you. So yeah, it's just cultural differences, but we are so not.
Oh yes, I've seen some other things that would not be appropriate for this podcast. What they do with the kids, the way they, especially the grandparents, take the kids and let them do their business in the middle of the street anywhere. You know what I'm talking about?
And plant pots in malls as well.
Yes. So absolutely. Well, this is not appropriate to share here, but I've seen some absolutely crazy things. But well, as I say, TIC, this is China, you know. No, but it was awesome. So when did you know that, hey, I'm gonna stay here for a while? I love it here.
I think it gradually came on to me, because I think the first year is always the most challenging, and you're just so exposed to a lot of different cultural differences. I think it just gradually came up upon me. Like, I loved it, and I loved seeing everything new. I was traveling a lot on my days off around Hangzhou, and then especially my second job, I got to have like holidays off and I could explore to different places in China, and I think I just really got addicted to traveling inside China, and I really enjoyed. Each province is so different. Everyone talks about China and they're like, oh, so don't they don't have snow in China, do they? Or, oh no, that's
they do.
Dog in China. And it's like, well, each province, each city actually is so different, and I think people forget how big it is and how there's so many different cultural difference even within China itself.
Totally.
So I think,
I've experienced the hottest temperature in my life in China, and the summer in Hangzhou can get pretty damn hot. One time it was like, I will always remember it, I think it was summer of 2016. It was like for the whole month straight, mid-June to mid-July, it was like plus 50 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow.
It was brutal.
I would always escape in that. I think I had one summer there, July and August, my first year. And then after that, I didn't stay because I got the better job. So I always had my holidays off. I had about 4 months paid holidays a year.
Oh, wow. Sweet. Yeah, that's a good deal.
So I got to travel on there.
What was your favorite part of China that you traveled to?
Oh, this is such a hard question because there's so many. I'll tell you the highlights. So the northwest China, they have the Rainbow Mountains in Gansu, and that's amazing. They're really, really beautiful. That I really loved Guilin, seeing in Yangshuo. Yangshuo, they have all these different mountains there, and they're so unique rock formations, and that was really pretty.
Is this where they filmed a part of the movie Avatar?
Yes. Oh no, that's Zhangjiajie. That is in, oh my gosh, where is Zhangjiajie now? That's like in the central part, but I forgot.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Wow. No,
But sorry to interrupt. My favorite one was seeing all the tribes in, I think it's Guangxi, that
okay.
province, and that was my favorite. Seeing all the different costumes and the different outfits that they traditionally wore, and it just felt like you were going back in time. So I think my favorite
Yeah.
part where you got to visit is old China, where you actually
Oh, yes.
see the ancient style still there, still exists today.
Yeah, one thing I really enjoyed as well. Well, I didn't get to travel within China much because I was working too much and just, but I did go to a few places. But one thing I really enjoyed doing is just I was living the first year I was there in the north of Hangzhou,
Yeah.
in a very traditional place. So usually going to those small streets and have barbecue on the street. I absolutely love that. Especially I miss the grilled fish, the grilled eggplant, and you could just from they have some kind of fridges. You just pick whatever veggie you want, put it on the plate, and they just barbecue it for you, and you can have all night long as many drink and eat at will. And at the end of the day, the bill would be what, $10, $5 per person. It was absolutely surreal. It was beautiful.
That we would have our nights out like that because where
Yeah.
we were living, it was about an hour, 50 minutes to an
Oh,
hour
even cheaper. Yeah.
go there. Yeah, so we would, not cheaper, but just to save time, we want a night out after work, but we
Oh,
don't want to
yes.
travel an hour away.
Yeah.
So we go to a barbecue place like that, have beers, or like we used to have there's this convenience store, and we used to call it Treehouse Bar. It wasn't even a bar, but it was just a shop where we'd sit outside and they had tables there and we just drink beers and different like Jingzhou. I used to love Jingzhou. Do you
Yeah.
remember
Okay.
alcohol? It
Oh
was
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
whiskey. So it's whiskey, and it's actually meant for men. It's like a Chinese medicine meant for men and to use it like the Viagra.
Okay.
But I would drink it because it's tasty. It's very sweet. And I have that with Sprite, and wow, it makes you a bit hyper. It's really, really nice.
How would the Chinese react to seeing you as a girl getting that?
It was a common alcohol spirit as well. But
Yeah. One thing that I always, I could never get used to it is even in the heart of the summer, it was 50 degrees outside. As soon as you get into a restaurant, they would get you hot water.
oh yeah,
I
and
said,
I'm still
no, I want cold water, please. They would look at me, huh? Mayo, mayo. So yes, yo.
Oh, I used to request it even. I love hot
Yes.
water now. As you can tell, I think I have some Chinese culture within me being there so long. And hot water I've definitely taken with me now. If I'm in a restaurant, I don't want to drink anything else except hot water in a restaurant.
Yeah. Toward the end, it started growing up on me. But as soon as I left China, I get back to my usual stuff. So I cold water, please, when it's hot. No,
I think
China was
that's
amazing.
one thing China changed me. I can't drink ice cold water anymore. I hate
Really? Even when it's hot summer day?
no, like temperature, yes, but not,
Okay.
yeah, not cold water. And
Wow.
KTV, I miss KTV as well. That was so
Oh,
fun.
yes. There were two types of KTVs. You know that, eh?
Oh, yeah, you were telling me.
I got one day I got invited. I was doing part of because I was doing e-commerce and going to the factories. And when you do a deal with a factory, especially when you place a big order, the factory owners takes you for lunch, dinner. And once you place the order, they take you to those extra fun KTVs. And well, I'm not sure this is appropriate to share it here, but you know what I'm talking about. Everything goes.
Yeah.
But no, it was amazing. So, what was your favorite food in China?
Oh, a lot. I used to love, those Muslim restaurants.
Oh,
They
yes, yes, yes. Me too.
Islamic food.
Oh,
So it's like
yes.
Islamic Chinese food. Oh, am I frozen?
No, it's okay. No, it's
Am I
okay.
frozen?
No, it's
Okay.
okay.
The Islamic restaurants were absolutely amazing. They used to pull the noodles like this.
Yes,
And
yes.
there's one in London here that I found too. So these restaurants typically originate in Xinjiang or Lanzhou,
Yeah, yeah.
Hangzhou, Lanzhou.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
Lanzhou La Mian was one of my favorite.
Absolutely. Me
I
too.
love that. Xinjiang Ban Mian as well. Like that's also really good, like with the wider noodles.
Whenever
Uh,
I went to any neighborhood, any city, that was the first thing I was looking for. Where's the Lanzhou restaurant here?
but I'd always get it without the meat because I liked
Yes.
vegetarian when I was there.
For me, I
Uh,
didn't like the meat because I don't like meat with fat.
yeah,
And I asked them, I each time I ask them, I don't in Chinese, I don't want the fat, but they would not understand. Look at me, and they would still bring me the fat. So I said, no, no meat, please.
Yeah. So when I first lived there, I did eat meat the first year, I would say, and then after that, I didn't. But definitely, like I remember my first visit to Xinjiang, and they had these cow roll baozi, and it was like a baozi, but baozi is normal baozi, is like similar to.
Yeah,
But this one was baked. It was kind of like a pastry that you'd see, and like a meat pastry or something in the shop here, but it was so delicious. And it had, I think there was like 7 baozi for 2 kwai, which is so cheap. It was
yeah,
2 like 20p. So
yeah,
good. It was really, really insane. So I love that, and I love the fact that you got to eat for very, very cheap. I remember my
oh
first
yes,
year, and they used to have these rubbish streets that they used to call it. It was actually called La Di Diet, and like rubbish streets. And you could get a sandwich, which is a huge pita bread filled with a stir fry for 5 kwai, which is like
oh
50p,
yeah.
60p, something like that. It was crazy. It's so, so good. And that
It's
would be
like,
your meal.
yeah. Now you can definitely eat very tasty food for next to nothing in China, especially when you know where to go. But also you
Yeah.
can go to restaurants where you can spend as much as you would spend in Paris, London, or New York or whatever, because there's some
Oh,
amazing food, amazing
yeah,
food.
for sure.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
Shanghai, very expensive.
Even in Hangzhou, even when I was living mostly in Hangzhou and Shenzhen, my God, the food there, especially when you know, that's why I love, each time inviting a Chinese friend with me, say, take me to your favorite restaurant and just
Oh,
show me your favorite food, the food from your region. If
yeah.
someone was from say Wuhan or from whatever, say, okay, let's go to a restaurant from there and show me what you eat at home, the best. I trust you, and you
I
would.
love that.
This was amazing. So, oh yeah.
I used to love that grandma's 外婆家.
Oh, I love those. Yes, yes, yes.
Thai was my favorite. My favorite dish is gangbao Thai, which is like this stir-fried cabbage, and you'd actually like see it being cooked in front of you on the pot. The pot was
Oh
there
yes,
fire
so many.
underneath, and you get to see it cook. Yushan Tiedza, which is like this eggplant dish where you had
Oh yes.
like all the different soy sauce in it.
Oh,
Bantia Chow Didan, which is like this egg and tomato dish, like kind of like scrambled egg, but not like
you know what? I swear to you, I was all of a sudden out of the blue a couple of days ago. I was craving that. I made it. I went on YouTube's how to do it. I did it. I'll send you pictures after. Yes,
oh
yes,
wow,
yes.
no way.
Because that was
My
my first dish in China. Because at first I didn't speak any China. I just went to restaurant, just pointing,
yeah.
and I saw egg and tomatoes. So well, I love it. And after that, I would always get that in the first few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I miss about the Chinese culture of food is you always share. So say
Yes.
me and you were going to a restaurant, we would order probably 2 dishes, put them in the middle, have a bowl of rice each, and then share the dishes. So you get a variety of food. You don't just have to pick one like the English menu, you just pick one and
Yeah. Yeah.
stuck with your meal. You don't get food envy because the other person's eating everything.
Yes. Yes. And I like the fact that, in China, most of the restaurants, I mean, pretty much all of them have round tables as opposed to square tables.
Oh
And that
yeah,
that makes it easier for sharing. You just turn the table, you just the
I
plate, the
love
dishes. Yeah. You're making me crave today for Chinese food. Damn you. No, I love Chinese. I miss it actually. Maybe today I'm gonna get Chinese food for lunch. All
yeah.
right. There's a lot of things I miss from China, but honestly, I'm looking forward to go back
Yeah.
when things settle back.
Oh, really? You going back?
I would love to. I still have. I had a 10-year visa that they're gonna expire next year. I'm not sure things gonna get open for foreigners until then, but as soon as I can, I will go back because honestly, listen, I had an amazing time. One of my biggest regrets in life.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Hong Kong and China was in 2012. Actually, I went to Hong Kong and then Guangzhou. And then in Guangzhou, I met guys that were just starting, and now these guys are crushing it. They became multimillionaires in Amazon, and now they're doing other businesses. I actually had a job that was an English teaching job in Guangzhou. They found me, and they said, "Why don't you stay there?" I said, "No, I'm gonna go back home in Canada and work in something else to save money to come back." But if I had stayed back in 2012 in Guangzhou, it would have
Yeah.
been a different story because back then the e-commerce, I told you my background, e-commerce was wide open. Amazon was just starting, zero competition. I would have been a multi millionaire by now with all that I would have learned from, because all of those guys now are just, you know, crushing it. And I wish I had stayed back then in 2012 and not come back 3 years later. But nonetheless, I had an amazing experience. I
Yeah.
would not change it. Yes, it was challenging. It was not fun at times, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's such an amazing experience. I feel like that's a past part of me, because
Yes.
I loved it. I was there so long, and I part of me would like to go back, but in the same sense, like, you know me, I'm a traveler. I want to see all
There's
of the
more.
world. So I
Yes.
want to see like every country in my lifetime, hopefully,
Is
and
that your
get
goal?
that's my goal. I'm on country 70 now, so I've got quite a few more.
70 countries. Holy smoke. Wow. 70?
Yeah.
Holy wow. You definitely need to write a book or have a podcast. Seriously.
But
That's
I have a lot
amazing.
more to go, so let's see.
So if you could travel today, what's the very first country you would go to?
I think Iraq, because I actually have friends in Iraq.
Wow. I was
I
not expecting that.
really, yeah, I
Yeah.
like to go to the places where not many people go to either, like not the typical destination. Like you asked me, have I been to Germany or Switzerland? Like, no, I actually haven't.
Same here.
But
Seriously.
I've been to countries like Moldova, like
Oh,
Ukraine, things like the countries that people don't tend to go to. I like to go to explore more, to learn more, like explore the culture there, the traditions that they have, and have that experience that's so unique that I possibly wouldn't try to do that when I'm older. So yeah, I really think that Iraq would be amazing. I haven't seen Egypt, and for history, like I
oh
absolutely love.
yes.
I'd love to see Egypt. Um, so, and Antarctica, if money was limitless,
That's
Antarctica.
mine too. That's my number one too. Yes.
A lot of money. You need about 20,000 to go.
Yes, yes. And you're not allowed to travel freely. You have to go with a tour and just,
Yeah.
no,
And you have to
absolutely.
go on the boat, which might be rocky at times.
Oh, big time, especially once you go back towards what is it called? The I forgot the name.
Fire?
No, no, the part of the water that's very choppy and very the sea just south of South America, just beside. Uh, it's not the hope of. I probably forgot the name, but absolutely the craziest waters in the world. Very choppy, very windy. But yeah, that's definitely high. Wow, we can do. I mean, we can do an entire season just travel China and
I know.
business, Instagram next, and wow. Listen, that's amazing. But let's move forward. Let's move forward. Now, there's a saying that says, "Change your story, change your life." And by story, I mean what we tell ourselves on a daily basis inside our head. So when you're Rebecca, you had to change your story at your lowest time. How did you
Yeah.
do it to change your story, to change your life? Did you do it through the help of friends, family, relatives, books, mentors? Tell us the process you used to change your story, to either change your life, but bring your life to where you wanted it to be.
Um, in terms of like how I changed, I'm not really understand, sorry. How
So
I changed.
change your story. By story, I mean what we tell ourselves inside our head all day long, the story you tell yourself. So when you had to change your story, how did you do it?
I think I would say two parts in my life that I've had to do this. The first, I really wanted to travel, but I had no money, and I had to think, okay, how am I going to find a way to do that? So I found a job in another country, and that enabled me to have a really good salary and also have time off so I could travel. So there was definitely that first one there. And then the second, I think, was recently in lockdown, and I always wanted to start my own business, and I knew I had that inside me, but I didn't really believe in myself. So first of all, I had to do a lot of mind work, and two, I really needed to know the process. So I had to learn a lot of business courses online and really learn the process of how to do it, and surrounded myself with other entrepreneurs to see how they did it as well. And I think that process, going from not knowing anything to just throwing yourself in the deep end, I'm going to start a business, let's do this, what do I need to learn for it, what do I need my mindset to be like, in order to have this business, and then let's start it. And I think that's the way I changed the narrative in my head.
How challenging was that to do for you?
Extremely, because I think, like any entrepreneur, everybody doesn't agree with what you're doing at first. Nobody supports you. And even especially the closest to you, like your family and your friends, immediate family, are questioning what you're doing. Why don't you have a 9-to-5 job? What are you doing with your life just online is not good for you. Like saying all of these things. So you really have to kind of block out that what do you call it, like the mental,
The
like
noise, yeah,
talk. It's the constant negative talk, and you really have to maybe not even share what you're doing, because I think once you share, people have the opinion and then they feed it back to you. Just slowly do it on the side, quietly build up your business. Don't tell people what you're doing, and then surprise them when you have your amazing business set up.
Yes, don't tell them, show them, hey, this is what I did, by the way. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Now, moving forward, now let's talk about the beautiful impact you're having in the world. Tell us, what are you doing? What are you up to? What's the impact you're having in the world? What's your business?
So now I do Instagram. So I help people to voice their message, to get their message across the world. What's their impact? And I help them by spreading their message. Like, yeah, my tagline is helping busy entrepreneurs, because people don't always want to be on social media. So helping the busy entrepreneurs to get their voice out there, to get them clients, getting them booked calls without them lifting a finger, so they can focus on what they're good at, and they can focus on the impact that they're having in the world. And I'm helping them, facilitating their message across out and getting their message across out into the world. And then that's my main project now. And we were just talking, weren't we, about how the online space, it can make people more and more dumb. And we were just and I'm finding myself, I'm doing it so comfortable with the Instagram thing. I know all the strategies, I know how to grow, I know how to get people out there, and it is satisfying for me to see my clients win and get those booked calls. However, I'm finding that I'm not learning every day. So I was just saying to you before, like, maybe I will start a podcast or something, some kind of movement where we are listening to a podcast where it's learning about facts. That every single day you're learning new things about animal facts or facts about the world, history, things that you are, maybe you go to work, you know everything that you're doing in work, it's boring for you, you're not learning something new. So starting a podcast and a movement saying, hey, this is what we're learning today, how much more intelligent are you getting each day? And I think if you ask a lot of people that, oh, what did I learn today? I'm not sure people will have, maybe you learn the small things, but I'm not sure if you have something significant to take away each day to say, oh, I'm significantly more intelligent than yesterday because of this, this, and this. And I think we should all be on our personal growth journeys, trying to get that 1% better each day.
I love that. You know, one of the, as you know, my story, podcasting has changed and blessed my life. One of the main ways for me has been, as part of my ongoing education, having all this wonderful conversation with actual real world-class experts, learning about things that I thought I knew, but most importantly about things I had absolutely no idea even existed. Like, for example, Reiki. And the podcast has been, for example, a big part of my own spiritual awakening, talking with all these wonderful people. That really allowed me to say, wait a second. It made me go from, oh, spirituality, stay away from me. That's for cuckoos. But now you're spiritual, you're my crowd. Come here, tell me more. You know, it completely helped me change. So yes, absolutely. It's an amazing, fascinating tool to educate yourself, to learn more about things that actually matter, that you're interested in, as opposed to going to school and learning about things you will never use again in your life. You know, so in that way, yes, podcasting for me, has been absolutely phenomenal, because again, you get to choose who you're going to talk to. You invite the exact people you want, learn about the topics you're interested in. So that's the best type of conversation to have, you know.
It really is. And just last week I realized this, that after speaking to you, and then there's another entrepreneur, I was like, wow, I'm getting so much knowledge, and we're sharing knowledge. It's not just like a one-sided.
Yes.
We're sharing knowledge and learning from each other. And I was thinking, wow, I really need to do this more often because by connecting with other people, you learn a lot more too. So I do really see the value of podcasts now too.
Absolutely. On that end, and also, as I told you earlier, business, it's a relationship nurturing process. And there's one of the most powerful ways to do it through podcasts. Podcasts actually has become the new, in the old days, well, I was in those days, but just as an example, people say, hey, let's hang out at the golf course, or let's hang out at the country club to get to know each other. But now it's all, hey, why don't you come on my podcast? Let's hang out on my podcast. And this is how amazing connections, networking, amazing business partnerships I've started as a result of, hey, let's just have a chat on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't really realize it was a thing until I met you. Actually, I knew people were on podcasts, and I knew I listened to some podcasts as well in the past. I didn't really realize how important and how valuable they really can be until we had a conversation.
Absolutely. I didn't even know it myself when I started my podcast. I told you when I first started my podcast, my goal was, because at the time I wanted to launch through a crowdfunding platform called Kickstarter. I don't know if you heard of Kickstarter.
Yeah.
To launch a brand of vegan leather products. I was trying to build an audience for my launch.
Oh.
But then everything happens in life for a reason, and at the right time, for some way, I got connected to heart-centered entrepreneurs, and pretty soon I realized, hey, I'm loving these conversations. I swear to you, within a month or two, I switched completely from building the podcast to build my audience for my e-commerce launch. Wow. To just forget the e-commerce. There's a much bigger play at hand here that is for my own growth. Talking about these entrepreneurs, because ultimately what I want to do most was to inspire entrepreneurs to do good with their businesses, because we all need to make money, but let's do so in a way that is meaningful, impactful, and power, and fulfilling. And the podcast is what allowed me to do that. So yes, in that way, podcasting has been life-changing for me. Yes, Kickstarter. Yes. Wow. Listen, that's amazing. So tell us more about your business. First of all, who is your exact ideal client avatar?
Good question. I think I have two, because I've narrowed it down to what I was just saying before about learning. And I think it's really important that we're all still learning. And the content that I'm learning the most from is in the wellness space and in the business space. So those two are really, really important to me topics. So my favorite people to work with are holistic, like yoga coaches, leadership coaches. You have life coaches as well. Lots of people that are in the wellness space and really want to do good for other people, and they are on their personal growth journey, because I learn a lot as well from this kind of content. So this is like the one space. And then the other space is the business coaches, because I also learn a lot on how to scale and grow businesses from scratch or from an existing income, how to scale that. And the business coaches, they're really interesting as well, because they are connected with a lot of different people. So you can kind of see, okay, well, this person's doing this and they're helping this person. And they did this Facebook group, which led to this launch, which led to this result. And I think the business side of it is really interesting to me as well, because I am still learning how to grow a business myself. So I think these are my two ideal clients: so business coaches, sales coaches, and then life coaches and yoga coaches.
Definitely. Awesome. Tell us more about the structure of your business. Is it more like one-on-one? Is it small groups? Is it here's your login, you can go through the program at your own pace? Tell us about the structure. How long does it take? For example, if I were to join your program, how long would it take for me to see results? All the good things that someone that may be interested in can actually learn more about your program.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I currently have a complete Insta takeover for Busy Entrepreneur. So if you just didn't want to be on social media at all, I will take over completely and do all the content, get it checked by you first before I post, and then design everything. If I wanted you to do reels, say you wanted to be a face brand, I would design out all the reels for you, type up all the scripts, and then send them across to you. So all you'd have to do is record a video, send it back to me, and I'd edit and everything that for you. And then on the Instagram itself, I do engagement strategies, building relationships with other people, with your ideal clients. as well as like messaging people. And it's not just like a spam message here to get my product, I'm advertising for you, book a call here. It's having those coffee chats. So the big thing on social media now is that we are not going to be spamming. We are talking like we're talking right now. You wouldn't say, oh, hey, and I've got this thing and it's $99 and it's this. Nobody
See
talks
you. Bye-bye.
life. Yeah, we don't talk like that in real life. So why would you speak like that on social media? It's meant to be social. So having that conversation.
Wow.
How
You know,
not how is sorry, yeah, interrupt me. Yeah.
sorry, Rebecca. Something came to mind, and this is absolutely powerful. This is probably one of the greatest, aha moments. You said social media as the word social, supposed to be social, This is so
Yeah,
powerful. We need to make a t-shirt out of it, make memes and whatnot, and shout it from the rooftop, because a lot of people are forgetting that.
they are really not being their authentic selves on there. I mean, I know there is a lot of money to be made online, and maybe their spam messages work if they send it to enough people. But really, the most important thing, especially for me and the people that I work with, I want them to be as authentic as possible and really wanting to make that impact on the world authentically. They really want to help people grow. And if you're not showing an interest in your ideal clients, then I don't think I want to work with the person that's not going to care about their clients. I want to work with heart-centered people who really care about their clients' results, whatever that may be. If it's on the holistic side, it's healing their pain, healing trauma. If it's on the business side, it's really growing their business and getting them increased profits. You're not just taking their money and running and, oh yeah, I have this thing, book it. Oh, you didn't get results, I don't care, bye. I really want to make sure people are spreading their message, but really living in their true power and true selves and being authentic. And that's the way I think that social media should be used. You're asking the appropriate questions, and yeah, people are connecting with them. So yeah, I do that, and then guarantee 20 booked calls in a month.
Wow.
Yeah, which is great, especially if you've got a really good offer that's proven and you know that you've sold it before and you know your ideal client. If you're very clear on what you're offering and you've sold some before, then I can guarantee that.
So if someone wants a client, for example, is looking to, so they only need to have an offer. So within how long can you, for example, if someone can get even, so maybe let me see how I can phrase this better. So you mentioned that you will help your ideal client to get 20 booked calls a month.
Yeah.
So how long does it take you to reach those 20 calls? Is it within the first month, within the first 2 months? So what's the time frame that we're looking at?
Yeah, I guarantee it in the first month, every month. But first of all, before hiring any clients, or before they hire me, I will always make sure, are we a good fit? Do you have a good offer that I feel aligned with, number one? And two, do you have that offer where it's enticing enough, it has been sold before? Or even if it hasn't, I'm open to working with people that haven't sold their product before, but just to be bearing in mind, like, we might not be able to get you 20 calls this month because we need to test your offer, maybe tweak it a little bit. And I help clients to do that as well. If they want to change that offer, adding some more in to give it more valuable and to make it more valuable, I will help them with that.
And do you help them only with organic lead generation, or do you also help them if they want to do, for example, Instagram ads, for example?
Yeah, if they want Instagram ads, that's also included in the pack, and they have Instagram ads, Facebook ads as well, and yeah, that's something that I include in there too.
So would they need to provide you with a content and with an ad, or do you also help them with crafting the ad?
Oh yeah, I design all the ad as well, like the video,
wow.
content. So it's all a done for you approach. Did I lose you? Sorry.
No, I'm listening. Yeah, it's okay.
It's all a done for you approach. So that's one side of it. And then in the future, I am thinking about launching my own Instagram coaching program, because I've seen a lot of people and they want to just be coached through it. They want to do it themselves, but they do want to be coached through the process. So
yes,
I'm currently doing group coaching right now as a donation base to see how it's going, to develop my course and see what I'm teaching and what's relevant and what's not. So once I've picked out what are the really relevant key points and what people really want to learn, then I'll be launching.
I think what you're doing is really, really, really incredibly valuable, because you're mentioning 20 client 20 booked calls a month.
Yeah.
If someone has already an established offer that is at least $2,000, even if they were to get one lousy paying clients through that,
Mhm.
that would be worth it, and that would I'm assume that would more than pay for your services. So that's a no-brainer. Absolutely.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think it depends on your offer, but if your offer is proven and you have 20
Mhm.
book calls and your close rate is really high, then that's a really high ROI.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
I set this business up in January 2022.
All
So
right. So
6 months now.
beautiful. Now, tell us, share with us an example of the most remarkable transformation you've seen from one of your clients so far.
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
So one of my clients, he has a LinkedIn done for you. So it's he guarantees 16 booked calls a month with your warm connections. So for his business, he started with me and he just started his business. He'd used this product before and now he has the license to sell this product with his program. So now he has taken people through this program of it's a done for you LinkedIn service, connecting with your first, second, and third connections and getting you booked calls. And he's just on his 100th client this week.
Holy smoke, paying clients?
Paying clients.
Well, I hope you're getting some royalties from him, because, wow, that's phenomenal. So,
Yeah, it's
wow.
really, really amazing. And I think the fact that he has done this in such a short time, it just goes to show the power of Instagram and how we can really utilize social media for our benefits.
So, Instagram, for
Yeah.
what kind of businesses it is best suited for?
I think definitely anyone who has an online program, who is a coach of any
Mm,
kind, who has a program where they are doing it with someone, I think that really works well. Someone that has, I've seen a girl that's doing really well doing like a dance coaching program. So you're
whoa.
coaching dancing, it's movement is medicine, her message is. So she's really good. And then yeah, I definitely think it's more about coaches and people with an online program. But you can also do this if you're on another platform. Like, say, for example, this LinkedIn guy, he's only on LinkedIn. Yes, he advertises on LinkedIn, but he also wants to be on other platforms as well. And I think anyone that has a proven offer, a software, or even someone that's Google ads or Facebook ads, they could still be on Instagram because if they're not, they're leaving money on the table.
While listening to you, I couldn't help but ask a question that came to me given my background in e-commerce. Can your strategies also be used and benefit an e-commerce brand, an e-commerce entrepreneur?
Yes, definitely. E-commerce. I have never experienced a client like that before, but I have seen results from e-commerce online. And what they do, they put their link tree in the bio and they say, oh, buy this thing, and they have a whole strategy. So Instagram, the way it works is having a whole strategy, the way you go through it. So you have your posting is all linking to a call to action. So you want to be posting your reels, posting your content that's relevant to e-commerce. It depends what you're selling as well. So what kind of thing are you selling, or would you be selling?
Right now, I'm not selling anything online,
Yeah.
but I mean, as far as e-commerce is related,
Yeah.
but I used to be active before. But a part of me wants to get back into the e-commerce game plan, especially now that the world is starting to reopen again. Because
Yeah.
I'd like to be the person on the ground, going to the factories, the countries, meeting the people face to face, not just everything online. I'm the kind
Yeah.
of face-to-face type of guy. So now that I'm thinking, now that the world is opening up again, I'm strongly considering when I go back, whatever it is, whether it's Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, wherever, or Malaysia, whatever, Indonesia, I would definitely be, scouting for some unique exotic materials and products. And I would absolutely love to launch a new product, because e-commerce can be really fun. It's the ultimate lifestyle business, especially on Amazon. Once it's set, you just forget and you just spend an hour a week just to make sure you have enough inventory, your ads are going properly, and it can be a cash machine once it's launched real, because I've seen it, I've experienced it, and it can be absolutely mind blowing. So,
Definitely.
but I do know a lot of people in e-commerce because that's my background.
Mhm.
So maybe I can connect you. We can talk about that. And
Yeah,
because, I
definitely.
know e-commerce, Instagram, I've seen ads, but for other people, but I haven't used, Instagram myself.
Yeah. I would like to just add to that. So say you have a product on Instagram and it's not just about the product, it's about the whole thing of the product. And
The
you probably
story,
know,
the branding. Yes,
yeah, the
absolutely.
story is really important. So if you are a product and you're on Instagram, make sure you have a hook, a story, and an offer. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and this is coming from Russell Brunson,
I was
ClickFunnels.
about to say I'm a big fan of Russell. Yes, yes, yes.
101 ClickFunnels. But the story and branding is so important. So making sure you have 2 to 3 colors for your brand and stick to those colors. I see so many brands and they are so messy with their content. It's all inconsistent. Make it look consistent. If you're a face brand, put your face on there, your logo, a frame maybe of your one of your brand colors, the same font style, and keep it consistent. And then you want to have a video on there. If you don't want your face on there, be creative with your reels, but making sure you're always getting your story in there somewhere, and then your captions. And I would always say about keywords. So if you are like this, for example, this girl that does dance, her movement is medicine, is her message. And she will put her keywords in her stories, in her captions, in her reels, in her posts. So you want to have some 2 or 3 words, or maybe 3 or 4 words that really encapsulates everything that you're doing. What are you about? What's your brand saying? And if your ideal client is going to search for you, what are they going to search for? Make sure those words are in your bio, in your like posts, maybe in your username or your name as well. So like for this guy, his LinkedIn, I made sure LinkedIn is in his name, because people are going to be searching LinkedIn, that's Instagram SEO, and people don't really think about that. They're like, oh, my name's Charles Hunter or whatever, my name is Rebecca Harrington, and then it's like, who is Rebecca Harrington? Whereas if you
Exactly.
have Rebecca IG coach or Rebecca marketer, then
Branding.
they're going to be looking marketer, social media manager, things like this.
Absolutely. It's all about branding,
Yeah.
branding, branding, branding. And I call it a different way. There's a cheesy line in real estate that says location, location, location. And after doing business around the world, I
Yeah.
noticed something similar. I call it the rule of the 3 Ds: differentiation, differentiation, differentiation. Meaning what me and you can do to set ourselves apart from being whatever you are to being the expert, the authority, the leader. And that's the ultimate goal for any entrepreneur. So absolutely on the same
Yes.
page. I love that. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow, we can talk a lot. There's so much more to cover, but let's start wrapping things up. We definitely have to do a part 2. That's going to be a
Yeah.
multi-series, I guess. I guess. So to finish off, I'd like to ask you a series of rapid-fire questions on advices. Ready?
Okay.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received so far?
Oh, what a question. Oh, I don't know. That's put me on the spot. Best piece of advice.
What's the first thing that comes to mind?
I don't know. I've gone blank because I'm nervous.
All
It's
right,
like,
no worries. We'll come back
we'll
to
do
it.
that next time. Do that next time.
All right. On the flip of the side, what's the worst piece of advice you've got so far?
Oh, that you'll never make it in business,
Mm,
online. Like you'll never make money on crypto and online business. People
wow.
have actually said to me, and
Yeah.
I think they're both.
Or what do you think you are? Just get a job, play it safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Now, imagine that you're blessed with a time machine and you can go back in time and sit face to face with an 18-year-old Rebecca. What's the number one piece of advice would give to her knowing all that you know now?
Buy Bitcoin.
Oh,
Def-
yes. Oh, yes.
Definitely buy more crypto. I wish I knew about Bitcoin earlier. Um, to just relax and trust yourself, and things work out. Everything that's happening is happening for you. Work on your mindset. From that 18-year-old Rebecca did not believe in herself, but did not believe that
Yeah.
she could have a business. And I think,
Yeah.
yeah, working towards mindset, goals, and then making sure you have a daily routine. I think that's so important that people really underestimate this, but without my routine now, I would not be in a good state of mind. Like waking up, meditating, going for a run, really playing some mindset podcasts, and be careful what you're listening to. I used to go
Yes.
running and listen to reggaeton, and like the music and that, the words, the lyrics, it's really derogatory towards
Sure.
women, has a really bad message. And I think just even the songs that you're listening to, just being really careful what you're taking in. And this is where it goes wrong as well, with surrounding yourself with people with a different mindset, maybe a negative mindset. No matter how much you think you can block it out, just make sure you're changing your surroundings, because you don't want to be around that negative mindset. You want to be
Totally. Just
yeah,
like the saying says, you're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. You know,
exactly.
absolutely. Now, one of my favorite questions. I know you don't have a podcast yet. Imagine that you had a very popular podcast today, and today you were interviewing the most special person in the world, which is yourself. So you're interviewing yourself. What's the first question you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. What's the first question that comes to your mind?
Who is Rebecca?
Ooh, and what's your answer, Rebecca?
I think by that time I would be a totally different person to who I am now.
Totally.
Hopefully, but I'm growing each day. And my answer, I would expect the future me to say an aligned version of myself. I'm on my true path towards like becoming the best version of me.
Yeah.
I am successful, I'm kind, I'm helping people, I'm making a lot of impact on the world.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Love that. Now, the last question I will ask you, that's my favorite question. I mean, the last question in this podcast.
Yeah.
Um, what is the smallest thing you've done that has had the greatest positive impact in your life? For me, for example, has been starting my podcast. What about you, Rebecca? And by small, I don't mean something small. I mean the one thing you've done that has had the greatest positive impact in both your life and your business.
Um, I think two things. Well, one, like the smallest thing that it doesn't really impact this business, but my previous business, it does, learning Mandarin. I think being
Oh,
able to
yes.
connect with Chinese people across the world has just
Huge.
been amazing. Everywhere I travel, it's been so impactful, because I could just speak to anybody, which has really been really, really nice. And then the other thing, learning Instagram on my travels, I would just do Instagram everywhere, and it's allowed me to like have the skills that I have today for my Instagram business, because I've always been doing that.
Beautiful. Now, you said something that really, I want to ask a question on that. You said, I'm a big fan of loving languages, learning languages. I speak 6 languages myself, and I see the value of those. So you imagine when you go to anywhere and you see the Chinese saying a blonde girl talking to them in Chinese, I can imagine all of their mouths dropping. Shama, 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 shama.
Yeah.
How do they react?
It's amazing. It happened the other day, actually. I was at my friend's birthday meal, and there's a Chinese lady there, and then we were talking in English the whole time, and then halfway through she was asking me about my Chinese in 12 weeks business, which we were doing like back about a year ago, and she was asking me about it, and her English was good, but some things needed to be explained, and it was just easier to explain it in Chinese. So I was like, I just spoke Mandarin to her, and she was like, oh, she's like, wow, 你会说中文吗? Wow, and like she was just like asking like, wow, oh my gosh, how can you speak it? And it's really nice, and especially when you catch people out of surprise. Like I've heard people in elevators before, and they're like talking about you, and then you turn around like, oh yeah, thanks. 她很漂亮, like she's so pretty, and you're like, oh yeah, thanks.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Sometimes though, well, actually the thing in Chinese, like you shouldn't say thank you because it's kind of big-headed. You should say like where, like nali nali, like oh where, who is pretty, kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Or modest.
There's a guy on YouTube. He has one of the most amazing YouTube channel. All he does, no, he goes to all these ethnic places and starts speaking to them in their language with the exact accent. And the people are completely
Yeah.
blown away. Maybe you should do something like this, going to, now that you're in London, go to all those Chinese restaurants and you order in Chinese and all that. So you might get a few free meals
That would be so
on the way, because they say, wow, that's amazing. Okay, you don't pay, you're a guest. That's
that could be
awesome.
a good idea. TikTok, yeah.
That could be a great, topic for a YouTube channel, a fun one, just not for business, but just for fun.
Yeah,
Wow.
just like a happy. Yeah, I like that. I could
And
do that.
eventually, if you're still trying to maybe can some way help your previous business, hey, look at me. I go to this place, I speak Chinese, get free meal, make wonderful friends. You want to learn? Come to my website. This is my website.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I sometimes still upload stories. I think it's something to be continued in the future. But
Because this would be a way for you to promote that business. I don't know if you have any intention of getting that business, but in a fun way, in a practical, real life way.
yeah.
Awesome.
That,
And
oh, sorry.
no, go
That,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, we grew that Instagram. Like, I was in charge of the marketing and Instagram. My friend at the time was my business partner. She was doing the teaching, and we grew that from absolute 0 to 18,000 followers, 18,000.3 or something, 1,000 followers, 1,658 emails, and we had regular classes, and that really taught me so much on how you can build a business
Wow.
on Instagram.
How long did it take you to go from 0 to 18,000 followers?
I think we started it in July, and I think by March we had 18,000, which is insane. But the main thing it's like the engagement. It was
That's important.
about 30% engagement, and we had all those emails giving out free flashcards. And I think if you're giving out as much free value as possible, like, people are going to become your clients because they're seeing how much hard work you're putting in. So never hold anything back.
Hey, maybe we can do some things together with your background in Instagram and my background in e-commerce. I'll let
Yeah.
you put put the dots together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll talk after offline about that. But yeah. So Rebecca, if someone now wants to connect with you and want to learn more about connecting with you and getting in touch to see how you can help them get their 20 clients a month without lifting a finger for the businesses, what's the best way to do so?
My Instagram is bettergram.uk, and yeah, my personal one is Backpacker Becky. So you can message me on either one of those, and yeah, I would love to connect with anyone.
Absolutely. Listen, Rebecca, it's been absolute amazing, delight, fun, honor, privilege talking to you. Love your story, love your passion and everything. There's a lot more that we'll share, because there's so much more that we can do and talk. But listen, I salute you. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world with your presence, with your smile, with everything, impact, everything you're doing. Stay safe. Stay awesome. God bless you, my friend. Take care. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.